Three, two, one. We're live now.
I was about to adjust the lighting in my room. One moment.
You can do that now. Nobody's working anyway. I start every stream by saying this.
There we go. That's better.
Do you know what the title of this stream is?
Oh no! Oh no! Oh
Do you want me
no!
to change it?
No! Oh my god! Oh no! This is just to let you know. This is not what this stream is about.
This is just clickbait on our part, on my part.
Oh
I like to
no!
take responsibility for this.
You realize they can see us, right?
Yeah, they can definitely.
And I live in Canada. Do you have any idea how it's like here?
Yeah, exactly. If your employers find out that you're doing this, then your job might be in jeopardy.
It's okay. It's all good. They
Nice
can't
style, by
fire
the
me.
way.
I'm gonna be very careful with what I say here. That's okay.
Yes. Right
Where's
then,
my favorite commenter?
Jelani. I don't think he's there. Wait, hold
Just
on.
crooked.
Just get some water.
Yeah.
So, how was your day? What did you do today?
I woke up.
Oh yeah, you told me that. How was yesterday then?
It was okay. It was all right. I don't know. I was in a bad mood yesterday. Oddly enough.
Why? Did you have a fight with your parents or anybody else?
No fight. Nothing.
mood.
Just a bad
Yeah,
mood. You know. I don't know.
yeah. I can
It
understand.
ended with me watching Harry Potter for no other reason than just to make myself happy.
Oh, what part?
The first one. It takes you back to your childhood, you know?
Yeah. The
I
Sorcerer's
ju-
Stone. Right?
yeah, it just I don't know why. It gives me a boost. And hi crooked. And yeah, for no other
Yeah.
reason than that,
I also used to go on a binge watch for those films. Or I only used to watch until the fourth film, though. I think after the fifth one, I tend to lose interest. I think that's when
it,
I began to grow up. So
it's they become more adult, but the thing is, first of all, you can't see anything. That
yeah,
was the big
exactly,
problem.
precisely. The
It's
fifth one is a little difficult to see.
Yeah, I'm gonna adjust my chair. And no, even sixth, seventh, by the eighth, there's no color whatsoever in those films.
It
And
tends to get grayer and grayer as the films progress.
they justify it by saying, "Oh, because it's the movies are getting darker and darker." But that's just stupid reasoning.
That's
That's
what
really
happens in a
stupid.
lot of television series as well. The Sopranos also says something similar.
Yeah,
But I think the fourth film, what do you call it, The Goblet of Fire. I think that's
yeah,
where the film series peaked for me as a kid. When you have dragons and the games, where what do you call him, Cedric,
yes.
Robert Pattinson, who died in that film. I
And
think
then the
that's what.
whole Voldemort comeback with the fire and the ritual and everything. It feels very.
After the fourth film, I only remember the last one, Deathly Hallows Part Two, where Snape dies.
Yeah, and everything else is.
It's
I
just a
guess
blur.
it's a blur. Voldemort
Exactly.
versus Dumbledore was cool, just to see how give a
It
show of how
was,
powerful they are.
it was slightly absurd of the author to say that Dumbledore was gay because that was of no consequence. But she just added that detail there for no reason.
That was fine by me, but it was more so the things she began saying afterwards. I think it was a mistake for her to find Twitter. She should have just retired like a
Yes.
normal person and just
Yes. She
left
completely
left
screwed
the
her
world.
reputation by doing that. But I don't know what it adds to the character. It doesn't add anything, right?
No, but at
In
the
that
time
case,
it was considered like I guess it
a
was a
revolution.
move, and it was like it didn't really change anything about the character, I guess, but yeah. I don't
Mhm.
know. What could it possibly change? I can't think of
Nothing, dude.
anything.
Nothing.
No.
Maybe a little more sexual tension when he's discussing the plans with Snape. Maybe that. Nothing else.
Oh no.
Yeah. I like how the title of the video is what it is, and we're having a discussion about Harry Potter for the first 5 minutes.
I'm being very careful with what I say here because everything this is all going out to the public, you know. So even the Dumbledore gay part. But yeah,
Yeah.
it didn't bother me at all, either positively or negatively. And at the time, this was 2016. This was around the time when this it would have been a popular move. So I get why she did it at the time,
So
2016, 17.
about the title, I think everybody in India, all the viewers from India who will watch this video, saw that video of a girl roaming around in the Delhi metro with minimal clothes, and that really went viral because, of course, it did. So I sent it to this guy, the guy to my right, you.
Oh, okay, me, yeah,
Yeah,
hi.
exactly. And you told me that you had something to say about that
Oh,
and on the general topic of how girls dress, on how people dress in general. So
uh,
that's why we're here.
the video of
And
that, it
yeah,
appeared to me there were women sitting around her. It was
yes,
mostly women, right?
yeah.
And is it true that there are female only metros in India, or is that a myth?
I don't think there are female only buses from what
Yeah,
I
but I
recall.
don't think that
But
was
that
one, right?
wasn't yeah, that clearly wasn't.
Yeah, and I think it's there's an old saying, someone who I play racing games with every now and he says monkey does as monkey sees, which means this woman clearly saw something like that
Yeah,
in a
precisely.
Western protest, or probably somewhere in France or England or UK or something like that, and she wants to come across as Western, so she wants to make that point, and
Hmm.
I don't I don't even know what her actual point was. What was her logic behind it?
She
Um,
actually did an interview on it,
yeah.
opening up about the whole incident, and her logic was that it wasn't a publicity stunt, as she routinely does this. She regularly dresses like this and travels by metro. And the thing is, on the point you made about her imitating someone else from the West, it's actually someone from India itself that she's imitating.
Oh,
There
okay.
is a there is a model who has like a couple of million followers. Her name is Urfi Javed, and she tends to dress like that and roam around with the paparazzi constantly following her. So, and she even
Oh,
brought it up in the interview itself that she's inspired from her. So you hit the point, hit the nail on the head without even knowing the context. So kudos.
yeah.
Yeah.
I thought it was someone from the West. I didn't actually know it was someone from India, but I guess that she was probably
Yeah.
inspired by someone to do this. And I also
Me,
think,
me, yeah, go on.
sorry, I also think there's also a bit of a problem with the reverse in India, where guys will harass women who are wearing, say, comfortable clothing, not even minimal, just comfortable clothing.
Hmm.
And then I don't know if that's what she was trying to subconsciously portray, and if she was like,
I
if
think you're
she
giving
was
to
trying
her
to
too
make
much credit.
it
Yeah, exactly. I don't think she thought that far ahead.
well, what do you think? How do you think? You
I
as a
just
man with all your opinions think that women
Yeah,
should
I
dress?
have stronger reference points, right, compared to you, who's living
Yeah,
abroad. So, from what I know, from what I've seen of her in the interview, it's just her screaming for attention, trying to copy someone who has attention doing the same thing. So she's trying to imitate that and uh, get attention from the same market, basically. And she
I
succeeded
see.
in that. We're talking about her, so
Okay, I
I think
think
that's really it. And she got a lot of
yeah.
followers out of it as well. She's a struggling actress, from what I know.
Oh, struggling actress. Those are the type of people that will do the most, or struggling, that will do the most just to get a bit of
Always.
attention, just to kickstart their career. So I
You,
get it. I get it. And
you,
I
you know
think
what they say about publicity, right? There's no such thing
yeah,
as negative publicity.
yeah. But
Exactly.
I think at least the culture I grew up in,
Mhm.
Indian girls tend to be quite restricted in terms of what they can wear compared to Western girls. So sometimes I do understand their frustration sometimes, because it is a bit unfair,
Yeah.
especially how they're treated compared to guys. And you'll see this even at the beach or at the pool or whatever, and and
Yes.
I wish we could move past that, because I'm not entirely like how do you say, I'm not entirely like, oh, women should cover up, never get any attention
Yeah.
whatsoever. Like, and I think there's a lot of old school mentality in India still there, and I do wish we could get past that. And
See, I'll just give you my basic stance on this, which I also conveyed in the video that I uploaded a couple of days ago. My stance is simply this: if I have a daughter, or if there's someone close to me dressing like that, I will be opposed to it. I will vocalize my displeasure, but ultimately it's their choice. I can
Yeah.
only disapprove of them. I cannot force them to dress a certain way. That will just destroy my peace of mind and ruin the relationship further. So
Yeah.
if I'm extremely appalled and hurt by how they're dressing, I'll just distance myself from them instead of trying to force them to dress a certain way.
Yeah.
And about what you said, that see, the thing is, I had a discussion about this topic with how girls should dress, harassment, all this, and the girl basically told me that no matter how women dress, they'll still get harassed, even if they're fully covered, like how Muslim women are. They'll still
Yeah.
get catcalled, which is what happens, right? But I think that's more of an issue of law and order rather than the way women dress.
Yeah.
I think that's why it doesn't really happen in America or more Western countries, but it happens very frequently in Uttar Pradesh or the less developed
No, you have
areas.
your opinions on Uttar Pradesh. You have that's
Yeah, I'm a
common
little
sense.
biased.
If you could just remove the 240 million people like that live there
But people
and
in
just let
general, yeah, dude, there's a
and,
massive issue of law and order. There's just a population explosion here. There aren't enough security forces to discipline all these people.
and if we could just grow like some forest, some natural air,
Yeah.
and reduce the population of it, wonder how much this country would be fixed. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. And I forgot what I was gonna say. What did you say before that? Oh yeah, about being harassed no matter what you wear. I think it
Do you
almost
think
gets
there's
worse.
correlation between those two things, the way the women dress and how frequently they are harassed, or it's a
Y-
matter of law and order?
To some extent, probably yes, because some guys will see a woman dressing with more revealing clothing or more relaxed clothing as an invitation. But the thing is, I almost feel like if you live in a culture where every woman is like every woman is constantly forced to be completely covered up, it will almost make guys more desperate.
It definitely will.
Yeah, and
Mm.
if you could live in a where women is very relaxed on clothing, let's say let's say Australia, a very
Mhm.
relaxed country for clothing, it will almost not desensitize, if that's the right word, to some extent. So it's almost there's a correlation. It's almost the reverse, though. That's the thing. I genuinely think it's the reverse. Okay, short term, okay, women will get harassed more, but long term, you'll be better off if you relax the clothing policy. I think compared to making you're just. I think the way Indian culture works, separate schools at a young age, girls being forced to be completely covered up, no dating. It almost makes guys really desperate, and it almost makes things worse, I think.
Yeah, I know what you mean. You're basically suggesting that all the suppression of emotions ultimately leads to an implosion within men.
Yes, and especially
Um,
the unintelligent men who don't understand. First of all, they don't understand how they're hurting people, and they don't understand the concept of consequence.
they lack empathy. Yeah,
Yeah, and if you add desperation onto that, it
sexual
it's
frustration.
yes, it becomes a very dangerous combination to have. I think all the suppression in India combined with the desperation. And
So, if you have a daughter, I think we had this.
yeah,
We have had this discussion, but for the sake of this video, I think you should start from the scratch.
yeah,
You just answer. So, if you have a daughter, let's say you do have a
yeah,
sister, right?
yeah. I do have a younger sister.
You don't really care how she dresses.
No, because well, we've never been to India. Not since she was like 5, so she was basically a
Mhm.
baby back then. And since then, we've pretty much spent all our time in Canada and US mostly, sometimes Europe.
Mhm.
So I I would just prefer it if she would dress in a way that you fit in with other people who dress in that
Yeah, that's what
uh
you'd say.
area.
Mhm.
Yeah. And
Mhm.
like just fit in, just be normal, and don't go out of your way to be overly different, either positively or negatively.
Yeah, don't
What about
wear
you?
too revealing clothes. See, I already told you my stance. I prefer my women, quote unquote, my women to dress modestly
This
because
this
I
is a
am.
very dangerous to Andrew Tate level rhetoric, man. I
I
need to
don't
be
think this.
careful.
I don't think this is an Andrew Tate level. because
Yeah.
I don't speak from a place of hypocrisy like him, right? He's
Yeah.
constantly hanging out with half naked women. The way he speaks about women is really derogatory. This sounds really PC, but it's just how
Yeah.
he is. Uh, what your take on this is? You want your women, by your women I mean women in your immediate family, to dress
In line
based
with
on
the
how other
culture.
women in the same place dress,
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
adapt to the culture.
Yeah. Because imagine if you're in a situation where you have a wife and everyone else at a beach is, you're in, say, Australia, whatever, everyone else at a beach is dressed in a bikini and your wife is covered head to toe. Would that not be really weird?
Yeah, but you're taking that example to the extreme. What
Yeah,
if
yeah,
it's
I
instead
know.
of a bikini, yeah, she's just dressed in a, let's say, less revealing swimsuit. She's
Oh,
comfortable,
okay.
but she's not wearing a bikini,
Yeah,
right?
I
Do
guess.
that.
Yeah.
But let's say you
eh,
have a daughter, you have less of a say on about your sister, I guess, on this topic. But if you have a
no.
daughter, will you care at all about how she dresses? I think you will, right? Obviously, you will. Come on.
Obviously, to some extent, yes. I don't want her to be like the girl that we just saw on the
Why is
metro,
that?
but
Why is that?
because it's it's very embarrassing. It's
Yes.
there's a lot of shame involved if you behave like that, and
Mhm.
ultimately, a- I really dislike attention in real life, so it's and also we know how guys think, right? So
Exactly.
yeah, so just be normal and be in line with everyone else. Like shorts, that doesn't bother me at all if you live in a Western country, right? That's completely your
Mhm.
choice. Even like a crop top or a tank top, whatever, that doesn't bother me at all if you live in a Western country. Just try to be at least somewhat in line with what everyone else is doing. But the thing
So you're
with
saying,
young girls, oh,
yeah,
sorry, the thing
yeah,
with younger girls
good
like
one.
18, 19, 20, 21, as they explore their sexuality, they will try to push those boundaries, and I think it's natural.
Yes,
They'll try to. It's their I don't know. It's curiosity, obviously, as a younger person, and so
confusion as
that's
well.
yeah. So they'll
Mm.
that's it's natural. It's natural. Just hope she has some
But
sense.
do you think having a set of models that is completely dependent upon where you are, that's completely subject to change, do you think that's okay? That's valid. Not really a
Yeah.
strong foundation, right? Is it?
No, it's not a strong foundation, but it's
It doesn't have to be. Yeah.
no, no. It's I think it's better than the reverse, which is where you completely ignore your environment, because that's when you can really get into trouble, and that's when I feel like you're more likely to get harassed. I think it's best if you take your environment completely into account, take the country you're in into account, and then
Yes.
I would say, hmm, it's tricky because like
There
there's
needs to be a
some
certain minimum level of
yeah,
morality,
yeah,
right? Cannot be be, completely dependent upon where you are at the moment, because otherwise you have no
yeah.
models. You're just constantly adapting to a particular social climate. Models
I
are
guess to
okay.
some extent a less revealing swimsuit, but still a swimsuit would be fine. But again, at the end of the day, I don't have that. I feel like I won't have that much say once she turns older.
Yeah.
Like you only really have say over them when they're
Yeah.
pre-puberty. That's the thing.
Yeah.
And then once they hit puberty and they become like almost like they start having adult-like thoughts, it's much more
There's not really
difficult to
much you can
control.
do,
Yeah,
especially if you start earning, man. What else? What can you do?
nothing.
Even if you're completely against their choices, they'll just move
Yeah,
out, and that's according to how they want.
yeah. Yeah, once you lose the money leverage over your kids, I think it's over. It's pretty much over. I think
Yeah, but I would say, to just to reiterate my point, I would say I'm quite strict when it comes to this up to a point. After that,
yeah,
it's their choice. I won't really concern myself with it. I won't lose my sleep over it. I will be hurt if they dress just like how this girl was dressed.
yeah,
But I don't think there's much you can do after a certain point. But in the interview, where she talked about this incident. Her whole
Yeah.
logic was that girls should be allowed to dress how they want, and everybody who opposes that is really medieval and just
Yeah.
out of out of touch with reality.
The thing is,
And
this is almost what was happening in the West like 40 years ago, I feel. Because I
yeah,
remember there was similar videos like this in like the 1970s and 80s in countries like America.
like
And
girls
they,
roaming around with skirt for the first time, causing a traffic accident. There
yes.
were things like that. Although that was fake, but still.
And I think we're just going through the same phase socially. So there's going to be a lot of this, except the thing is, we all have cell phones, so we're going to see it all and all the embarrassing things that come with it, unfortunately. And we as
Yes.
people will continue to ruin our own reputation online as we do.
Yeah,
Um, and but I think by the time we're like 50, it will probably be similar. India will socially will probably be similar to the West, only with the GDP of like 1/10 as much, but we won't get into
yeah.
that.
We'll continue to ape the West, but with 1/10 the resources.
Wonder why India fell so far behind, even China. Well, that's a different discussion. That's a discussion for another day.
I think that's just because China was really wise with their resources, right? It continued to invest in human resources as opposed to India.
Yeah, agriculturally, and I think
Yeah.
yeah.
By the way, there was matches today.
Oh, right. The match. I was, you know, Bayern gets this like rep as this big bad bully,
Yeah,
kind of to some extent. They're really not that. They're really not that. They have made one final in 10 years now. It's been one final in 10 years. As
the
many
one
as
in
Barcelona.
that's
Fewer
it.
than, yeah, and they're very quite I don't know, they're very beatable, especially against top teams. So I wasn't really surprising to see City smash them, and obviously Haaland scoring and all that. And Messi's Ballon d'Or is not happening, by the way. I don't think it is.
No,
No. He's too shit at club level, and Haaland has the thing with Mbappe in 2021 was that he uh he had a terrible Euros, and
yeah, a
I thought
non-existent hero, basically.
yeah, and with a team that was very capable, so he has no excuse. Haaland doesn't have that, so I think he does have to win it. He has to win it. If he doesn't win it, the
Yeah, so
Champions
you
League,
can't really say that it's out of Messi's hand, can you? Because City winning
yeah,
isn't really a certainty.
no, yeah, it's not a certainty, and I'm really hoping Madrid wins for a few reasons, agenda
What are those?
related. No, and I'm convinced they just have they
Regarding
have.
Ronaldo,
It's not so much Ronaldo as it is. I think okay, it is Ronaldo.
it is obviously it is. Dude. Just wondering how you're going to
It's
worm your way around that.
the thing is, they just
Yeah,
have this aura in the Champions League, and it's like it's almost feels inevitable.
yeah.
I don't know how they do it, and
Really unexplainable how they do it. Even if they're not really good on the night, even if they don't have the strongest squad, they're the most threatening in Europe across two legs.
and even if because Benzema shouldn't have been this good. There's no reason for Benzema to be this good, especially given how bad he was towards the end of when Ronaldo was there. I
I thought he
never,
was about to be sold. There were rumors constantly floating around him regarding his transfer.
yeah, and then
And
even guys
even
like
when he became the talisman of Real Madrid, even when he started scoring like 25, 30 goals, they weren't really winning anything for the first, like, for the first
two,
season, they won nothing. The
yeah,
second season, they barely scraped past a really poor Barcelona side for the league title, but they didn't do anything in Europe, right?
no, they were knocked out in round of 16.
Yeah.
And I think when Ancelotti came back, they suddenly began this aura again. I think Zidane was mostly Zidane
Zidane
was
did lead them to another semi-final. They did beat
yeah,
you guys, Liverpool.
yeah, and then Chelsea along the way. And I think it's when Vinicius actually started. Suddenly,
Yeah.
he suddenly found another gear when he was 20, and they actually suddenly had another threat in attack. And I think when that
Mhm.
happened, they exploded into life again. They almost have second life now. Even Modric, it makes no sense how you can be this good at the age of he's going to be 38 at the end of this year. It's ridiculous. And
But I think everybody thought that after he won the Ballon d'Or, that was his last truly
yeah,
great season. And he's had like three world class seasons ever since then.
it's it's just ridiculous. And I don't know. I hope Barcelona continues to fail in Europe, or if Messi does go back there, at least he can get them past the round of 16 again. That would actually look quite good on his resume. And they're just losers in Europe, and you just have to accept that.
He doesn't really have a great act to follow, so to speak. He has two round of, not even round of 16, like group stage exits.
Yeah. So if he can just
All
get
he
to
has
the
to
round
do is
of 16,
lead them to the knockout phase, and he's done his job. Even Lewandowski couldn't do it, so
yeah.
they are going to win the league.
But they did that all the time with Messi anyway. That doesn't really change much for me. Barcelona and the league is like basically as good as Madrid. The big difference between them is in Europe.
Wait, got a call. Wait, hold on. I'll just
Oh, okay, no
drop a
worries.
text. Yeah, as
Two,
professional as possible.
two men discuss how women should dress and football question mark. Oh, wait, did you add that last bit or did I
Yeah,
just not
just
read it?
after we started discussing football. So
Oh, okay, that makes more sense.
yeah,
We
but
can go
I don't
back
think
to
really we can. But what else do we have to say?
yeah. I feel like it kind of this one's too early because not much has happened since the last one. So football wise, it's too like
Yeah, we
it's
can go back to that. Do you have any question for me about that, the first
ah.
topic, or
I
any
mean, I
thoughts that
never
you can
actually asked you
share?
in an ideal society, what would your dress code be like? What country do you think has it right, or what society has it right?
Just guess the country based on my smile.
Saudi Arabia.
Precisely, dude. You know me. See, I always approach this question with the thought in my head that if I had a wife, how would I want her to be dressed in public or in the company of other men?
Yeah.
And the only picture in my head that pops up is as modest as possible. And I think Saudi Arabia is a perfect representative of that. Why
What
not,
about
dude? Why? If she's comfortable
yeah.
guarding her modesty,
Of course, and she
why
should
not?
always be accompanied by a male relative when outside, right?
See, that's something that's Islamic. That's
Yes.
that's an Islamic school of thought. I don't know if I necessarily agree with it. I don't know if I do really, because most people who harm women are close to them, right?
Yeah. So that
So
that
uh,
actually that
I don't
actually
really
does make sense.
subscribe to that view.
I was just thinking,
If they're
like,
armed, who cares, right?
okay, what if you don't have a wife? What if you're just like yourself now, single and horny?
See, the thing is, this is a dichotomy right now. We
Yeah.
get into the trenches when we discuss this, because this is where the hypocrite in me comes out. When we're trying to approach girls, we want a liberal society, but when we're married, we want a conservative one.
Yes. That
It is, you could say it's hypocritical, but I think it's just, I don't know, changing your views depending upon where you are in life. I don't know if it's necessarily hypocritical. It's just being practical. I think
yes. And well,
you won't be
yeah.
the same guy you are right now when you have a wife and kids, right?
Yeah, but you would
Even
think
your
at that
viewpoint will
age,
change.
once you're in your 30s, you should be changing.
Exactly. But
And
yeah, if you're single, if you want to have as much pleasure as you possibly can, then you would want to live in a liberal society. Living in Saudi
yes.
Arabia won't really do you any good. But if you
Yes.
are married, see, if you're married, would you want your wife in a surrounding like America, where she's constantly surrounded by men who are trying to probe? Would you want her hanging out in clubs, dressing sexily? You won't, right?
The thing is, clubs is a bit different because if you go to clubs, it leaves the impression that you are single and you're looking for someone. But I'll be honest, if I'm married, I would rather live in America than in India with my wife.
It's the same thing nowadays, dude. It's not really that different.
Yeah.
How is it different? Especially in the metro cities like Mumbai, Delhi, compared to America. It's just a different crowd, but the mindset is more or less the same now.
Now, maybe I am racist towards my own in that case.
Yeah.
I don't know. I would think, yeah, you're probably right. And do you see in India now, you go to metro cities, do you see like guys actively hitting on girls or no? Very
Not
rarely,
seeing. No, no, very rare. It's very rare.
even if they are quite
I
attractive.
do see it in videos, but they look really staged and heavily scripted. So
Yeah,
everything on YouTube is scripted for me. So I didn't really buy into
everything.
that.
Everything on
Girls,
video is scripted.
girls do get approached in clubs, but not in
Yeah.
public places like a mall or a grocery store on the road.
Yeah.
I think but what would you? How would you want your family members, the female ones, to dress in your ideal world?
Um, Not covered head to toe like yours. That
Yeah,
would be awkward. That would be really awkward. I would say the way my sister dresses is fine. And now you're gonna ask, how does your sister dress? Which is a very weird question, which I don't really know how to answer.
yeah,
Um,
exactly.
no, I
You'll
think
answer that in a different way, but sure. Go
modern
ahead.
but kind of modest. Modern modest.
The mixture of both.
Yeah, it's there's a combination there. There's
And
like
what are your thoughts on her, like your girlfriend or your wife, interacting with other men or having male friends? What's your take on that? Do you mind that? What would you prefer?
um thing is uh this is a very hard question to answer politically correctly. So now I'm gonna think. Um, I guess after you're married, there will be family friends, but like male only, male single, and hanging out with them. I feel that's a bit weird.
It's
But
crossing a boundary.
the thing is, it's very hard to say that without coming across as insecure.
Oh man, I really hate that word. Okay, go on.
Yeah, man. And but when you think about the reverse, how many women would be okay with their man hanging out with a single attractive woman?
One less than one.
Yeah. So it goes both ways, and it's pretty obvious. Obviously, when you're in a bigger group, obviously you're gonna have a mixture of friends, some male, some female. But I think one on one, spending a lot of one on one time with a so-called friend of the opposite gender when you're married is very, very weird. And there's a not a boundary, but there's like I would understand why it would bother the other person a lot.
You're
I
not
think
answering the question, dude. You should be a politician.
yes, I should. I learned from Trudeau. Okay, no, no, that is my final answer. No.
And what's the question?
Oh, are you wait? Fuck, I forgot the question. Are you okay with
Oh, yeah,
yeah,
that's a more respectable answer. I think that's the answer that most men have. They just don't want to come across as insecure
yeah,
or outdated when it comes to their thought
jealous,
process. See, I
jealous.
am jealous. I am territorial. I
Yeah.
prefer that word instead of insecure. Why
Yeah.
do you lock? Why do you lock your house when you go out? Right?
Yeah.
You trust other
And
people.
mostly I think as we grow older, we have fewer
Yeah.
friends. So um and usually the friends tend to be the same gender anyway. So I think this is something natural, especially once you're in your mid 20s like
Yeah, the only interactions that are acceptable or excusable to me are the ones that they have with obligatory acquaintances. If they have people at
yeah.
their workplace that they have to interact with, then that's understandable. But if they go out of their way, as you said, if they're married and they go out of their way to have one-on-one time with people of the opposite sex, then that's really
Yeah.
unacceptable. And I think that's disrespectful. Just imagine your wife hanging out with a dude and your friend calling you, talking to you about it. All that come across. And
Yeah.
you having to defend your wife's honor to your friend, saying that it's okay. I'm okay with my wife hanging out with a random guy.
No, no, no. I think it's
Exactly.
the one-on-one part that's the real key for me here. Big groups are,
Exactly.
I mean, it's unavoidable, but one-on-one time and spending a lot of one-on-one time, it's very
Even in groups, if she is talking to a guy, we would prefer it's not a single guy, right?
yes, yes, it's someone who's also married, family friend or whatever, and it's even activities. Uh, But
Attraction
activities are
develops
really
while
just
bodies are moving.
it's still it's just another social interaction when you think about it. And like
Yeah.
how many actual close friends do you think you would have now at this age?
Of the opposite sex or in general.
Oh, both. Opposite sex and in general.
Of the opposite sex, I don't think I really have someone who I can call a friend, dude. I have people I can talk to if I like. Like I asked you that question about
Yeah.
that Reddit post, right? That a girl had cheated on their husband 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Remember?
Yeah, I
So I,
remember that.
I asked that question to a lot of my ex classmates who are acquaintances. I had a good conversation with all of them, but I wouldn't
Yeah.
really call them friends.
Yeah.
I'd call them acquaintances or ex classmates. Real friends who I talk to on a fairly frequent basis, I don't think I really have any. Yeah.
Oh, any.
Yeah. They're
Male or
acquaintance.
female?
No, I'm talking about female
Oh, okay, yeah,
specifically.
same, same.
They are acquaintances, but I wouldn't really call them friends. Maybe they would call me friends. I wouldn't.
I would say in real life here in Canada,
Mhm.
online I have quite a few, but the thing is online it's it's a bit
Yeah.
different. It's a different in real
Not
life here
really.
in Canada, I would say I have one friend I talk to on a daily basis, like one really close one. And a lot of good friends, but it was just different. It's not the same,
I,
like even good friends.
I think I really struggle to maintain friendships with girls. I don't know. Just
It's awkward to text them on a frequent basis without coming across as you want.
interested. Yeah,
Yeah. Like even I used to have a Ukrainian friend.
of
I mean,
course.
obviously she was Canadian, right? But like
Hmm.
she was she was originally from Ukraine. I think you saw a picture of her on Instagram. She's the blonde girl in that picture. That picture of
I
that
don't
group.
recall right now, but I think I'll check it later. Yeah.
Yeah, that picture of that group. She's the blonde girl. And even like when the war started, I thought about like asking her about
Reaching
what
out.
her thoughts are. Genuinely, just something interesting. But then I'm like,
Mhm.
I haven't talked to you in a few months, and this just sounds like I'm taking an opportunity. So I'm like,
Using
nah.
it as an excuse to reach out and develop something. Yeah.
Yeah. And so I never really bothered, even though I thought she was very intelligent and everything, and I would have loved to have a conversation with her about it. But I
Yeah.
just never.
I think
I
at
don't know.
our age, even things tend to snowball really quickly with the opposite sex, right? So we really take our time and judge whether
Yeah.
it's worth it or not.
Yeah. Yeah.
We can instantly see the future of relationship like 5 or 6 steps ahead the moment we interact with them. So that's the
I
thing.
wonder if that's just an Indian thing or if it's just an our
I
age
don't
thing.
know. I think it's just a me thing, probably. I
Yeah.
overthink.
Yeah. But I would never intend because I think she had a boyfriend at the time. I don't know. I don't know. I think she did at the time. So, but
Yeah, as far as male friends go, how many I would say? Wait, one, two, three. Wait, I think I have 4 or 5 probably.
yeah. But I think what I say by that is really, really close. Because I used to have 4 or 5, but then I lost contact with them when I moved because I felt
Mhm.
I didn't have enough in common with them to text them every day.
I'm constantly in contact. Like Jilani, he lives in a separate state, but we're still in
Oh,
contact. Yeah,
okay, yeah. Jilan, did he
yeah.
move to a separate state so you knew him in
Yeah,
person?
he
And then
works.
he moved?
He works. He works there.
Oh, okay,
He works
yeah.
in Bangalore.
My woman face turquoise covering Jelani. What does he say? It's her choice, elbow calls. So this is what he actually looks like too. Interesting.
Yeah,
I
he's
didn't
nice.
notice his face until now, and I
We,
think,
we we went to the same college in Jammu.
okay,
Exactly.
yeah, I
Then
think
there's a childhood friend of mine, and then there are 2 other friends from the same college, so 4 in total. And I'm in touch with all of them.
it's odd. The one friend I do have, I only had one college class with him, but we just vibed on everything, so we hung out. But all my other friends, I had them in college. I had a huge friend group in college, huge,
Yeah,
huge. And
yeah.
then what I mean, like I had separate ones that wouldn't interact with each other. So I had my Indian one that were like fobs,
Hmm.
the ones that move over, and then I had my mixed race one, and then I had my one in my classes. I had a soccer one, and then I had one for my classes. And yeah, I moved, and all of them are gone. I only count.
So
It's very interesting.
you really need to have something to something in common to have a conversation about. Like it's relationships or work or football for us or
Yeah,
shows.
yeah. And
But
once you leave,
mm,
or you need to find a person's opinion on politics and life and social
something to talk
interactions
about.
valuable.
I
Yeah,
think that's always there.
I don't know. We never really had those deep conversations. I just realized I never truly had those deep conversations with those people. It was not shallow, but it was like normal. It
Yeah.
was never deep. It was never that deep. And once I moved like 1,000 kilometers away for a job, I only really, and now it's been 18 months. I only keep in contact with one person now. That's it, and it's very very eye opening. And everyone else is just
You asked me this question right after we were having that discussion, right after we had that discussion about our wives hanging out with friends, right? So, do you have
yeah.
anything in mind, a connection with
Uh
this or not? Did you just
oh,
ask
okay.
that?
Maybe girlfriend. At the time, there were a lot of girls that were in relationships, and I would hang out with them, but it was always in groups, so that's not. It was very
Mhm.
different. And
Like I think it depends upon the seriousness of the relationship, right?
they were
If you're just
also,
casual,
yeah,
they don't really care. If you're in a serious
early
relationship with
20s.
a girl,
Yeah.
if you're in a serious relationship with a girl, or if you're married to them, then I don't think interactions with the opposite sex, especially in one-on-one situations, is acceptable by either party.
Yeah. What about you? Do you have someone? No, I'm kidding. I shouldn't ask this on
No
stream.
sense.
No need to answer. No
That's
need to answer.
I won't.
We all know he does, by the way, but no need to
I know
answer.
that. Like the thousands of viewers will know now.
Oh man, how many are there? I wish I could see.
There's just one dude. I don't know if it's my cousin or a friend of mine
There's like
who are already aware of the answer to
four
this
different.
question.
I see four different names in the chat, and that excites me a lot.
Do
Crooked,
you?
the Smokeson podcast, Jelani, and Kenshin.
I only know Jelani and Crooked. Crooked is my cousin. Jelani is a friend. I don't know who Kenshin or Snakes.
I feel like
Snakes
the
and
Smokeson. I feel like that's someone we know from football Twitter because that's a very specific comment, but I don't know who it is.
maybe it's another cousin of mine. They're all aware of my fondness for Verratti, which is basically
Oh,
died down now. But
it's over. By the way, he's finished. He's washed.
yeah,
His diet and his exercise habits have finally caught up to him. Now he's 30.
it's just sad though that when the world was watching, he had to have that game.
Yeah. I was at one point I was worried he was never gonna win anything but Liga. So I'm just grateful for the Euros and
Yeah,
just
same dude.
accept the fact that he's not gonna be a legend. Same as Pogba. Just accept what he does have.
Yeah, it's like we really raise our expectations when they win massive stuff earlier or when they show a lot of potential, not realizing that just one big honor is more than enough for most of these players. Not everybody has to be Messi or Tony Cruz when it comes to collective accolades.
Yeah.
Just a World Cup and a couple of league titles is more than enough, dude. Just look at
Yeah.
Zidane's club. What does he have? Or R9,
No, no, quite literally. Yeah. Zidane,
right?
R9, even Rivaldo, like a player we don't
Didn't he
really
have
mention.
anything? No.
Ronaldinho. Ronaldinho had one. Dino actually has the best CL campaign out of those guys, but
Does
I
he?
don't know why. Yeah, '06. The
Oh,
the
yeah.
he broke very strong opponent at Chelsea, very strong opponent Milan, and he was the difference maker in both. So I would say at the
Would you say
time,
that's a better campaign than any of Neymar's at Paris?
I think better than any of Neymar's period because
Really? Better than
yeah,
14, 15?
oh yeah, because I felt thing is it wasn't as good of a team back then, so it was more dependent on Dino, and um, I think Neymar wasn't. I felt Neymar wasn't as decisive as people say he was. That obviously he scored the brace against Bayern away. That was important,
The brace at Paris. He scored 3 goals versus
But
Paris.
yeah, but I think
Suarez
the
was
thing
the
is,
decisive
it's
player in
the
that time.
Barca was always better than their opponent,
Yeah,
and
that's true. But I think
yeah,
to add to what you just said, Ronaldinho's campaign was more individualistic, whereas
yeah,
Neymar was just a cog in a very really well-oiled machine.
and they were always better. Barca wasn't better than Milan. They really weren't. If you look back at those games,
2006.
yeah, it was
Yes.
Milan was just stronger in in that game, at least from what I
Mhm.
remember. And same, Barca wasn't better than Chelsea. It was
Yep.
Dino again. So yeah, I do think Dino probably. I think Neymar's below Ronaldinho and Zidane, and obviously R9. R9 is obvious; everyone will accept that. But the
I
other
think
two,
Zidane now, dude. Like I've really had the chance to look down on his like on his resume in particular, but also his performances on Twitter.
yeah,
The gap in international tournaments is just too big. And even at club level, it's not like Neymar is like leagues above Zidane at club level. He's not.
uh, Zidane has twice as many great Champions League final performances in my view. So
He has
even if
two
he
Champions League
lost,
finals, one win. He has a lot of Champions League assists. He scored versus Barcelona. He scored in the final.
yeah,
Not a- He won the player of the tournament, player of the what do you call it? Player of the league season in
yeah,
three different leagues, I think. At least in two. Three. La Liga, Serie A,
yeah,
and League One.
and he won the Player of the Champions League campaign in 2002. I want to say.
Yeah, but
Oh,
most
was
of
it
the,
him?
yeah, but even
I'm
if
not sure.
you just disregard their careers at club level, if you say that they're even for some reason, the gap in
Yeah,
international is just like
yeah,
light
it's
year level.
humongous, humongous. And to be honest, very few players can chat to Zidane at international. Very few Europeans
How many
suddenly can
can?
chat to Europeans, especially
I don't think you
because
can count them on one hand.
well, the thing is, all the ones I can think of, Pele, Messi, Maradona, they're all South American, right?
Would you say
So
that Messi has a better international career than Zidane? I don't think I
no,
will.
no,
He
I think
doesn't, right?
he has a better World Cup than Zidane.
And
Individ
even there,
like
it's close.
very close, but yeah, Zidane's Euros career is better than Messi's Copa
Messi's career.
America.
Yeah.
So Mbappe, I would say yes. Mbappe needs a better Euros though. Mbappe needs at least one
Yeah.
great Euros, and then
But if
yeah,
you talk about retired players, I think only R9 can talk to him when you combine both Copa America and the Continental Trophy
yeah,
and the World Cup Trophy. I think it's only
I
R9.
agree. Because Pele and Maradona, we'll just pretend that's before our time.
Yeah. It's
Plus, I
only
think
R9.
I swear Pele's international career gets more and more overrated the more I look at it. So
His international career is just as good as any of the other international greats that Brazil had. With Garrincha,
Garincha,
Jairzinho,
Didi,
just yeah, it's not
yeah,
really it doesn't stand out. Even
no,
R9 has a better international career than Pele. So and
yeah,
R9 isn't as good a team as Pele did, as dominant a team.
yeah, and yeah, it really is just R9. But I think the thing with Zidane is that how many times he scored big goals when
While
you would
dictating the
say,
tempo of the game. It's not really
yeah,
his primary duty.
he was a 10 and he made the difference against Spain and Portugal in the Euros, and then against Spain and Brazil at the World Cup, and then against Brazil again at the World Cup, and then it's just ridiculous. It's
Insane.
very against so
Like
many strong countries. He was always that guy. And the thing that really stands out for Zidane is that how much France sucked when he wasn't there.
yeah. So it
2002,
really
bottom of the
works.
group. 2008, after he left, bottom of the group. I think that just enhances his legacy.
With an all-time great Euros, all-time great World Cup, arguably the greatest World Cup final performance. What else can you ask for?
Yeah, I actually do have to leave at 30. I have a
And
meeting at 30,
how many
27,
minutes?
a few, so we should wrap it up.
Yeah, I was about to ask you that because it's 8:58 p.m. and you had told me that you're basically not available after 9, right?
Yeah, yeah, I have a work
Yeah,
meeting
it's
and
fine.
also
Still
I
had a 15-minute discussion. We sandwiched a lot of things in this.
I couldn't wake up in the morning. We should have
That's
started
completely
this
okay.
earlier.
I
Oh
was
man.
actually supposed to stay at my friend's place today,
Oh,
but I
okay.
canceled that for this.
Oh wow, wow. This is
I'm
no,
actually joking.
that's
So
really
just that was just to make you feel bad.
oh my god. Oh my fucking god. I would feel really bad. I would feel
No,
flattered actually. I wouldn't feel bad. I would feel flattered. Okay,
exactly.
and I would feel bad,
No,
but first
but
flattered.
I will. I was looking forward to it. I think we really have these. We really have compelling discussions without any audience, but we're leaving the body of you to be
One day
admired
there'll
and
be an
studied by
audience.
posterity.
One day. And also I like that. That's a very Indian thing, by the way, what you have in your background. That
This
red
the arts,
red no, the red
the curtains.
yeah. They're very Indian. I don't know. Because if you look at my curtains, there we go.
Oh, those. Yeah, it's basic.
Very, very. I'll let you know when they call. I think we should wrap it up now though.
Yeah, all right then.
Yeah, for sure. And this was fun. Thank you,
Yeah,
Jelani, for being here. You're my favorite audience member, as
yeah.
always. I'm not even sure if he's still here yet.
I don't think he is, but
Thank you to
he'll watch
all
this.
your other cousins as well. Maybe I should tell my cousins about this as well. That way we can double
Have
our.
you shown this to anyone?
No, no, I haven't.
No.
I haven't really. I think maybe you can send it to intellectuals.
Maybe I can, but I don't really share any of my videos there because I've started to show my face frequently. So if they happen to stumble across it, it's fine, but I don't think I will.
Yeah, if you do want a bigger audience with people that kind of know us, I feel like that's a decent place to start.
And maybe once the channel grows organically, maybe then I'll link it. But yeah,
Yeah,
I think I need to go now, and I think that's where we'll
yeah,
wrap it up.
for sure. I think my
Right.
meeting's just
Right.
about to start. See you, man.
Yeah.
Bye.
Good luck.
Thanks.